this isn't a really flashy video by any means when it comes to Photoshop, but I gotta show you this stuff because I think it's two features that were very, very needed, and I want to make sure you're not missing out on them. Okay, so let's come up here to the Photoshop preferences, and we're gonna go over down somewhere if it ever opens. Maybe I just didn't click on it. There we go. We're gonna go down here to file handling. Take a look at two options here: save in background, automatically save recovery information. All right, so I want you to just kind of remember those two options. All right, so we're gonna do something to this image. Bear with me. I'm gonna make a really crazy change to this image here. I'm gonna hit OK. Let's forget about that for now. Let's say we go on working inside of Photoshop. So here I come to this very large Photoshop document. You can see what you're seeing here is only 12.5% view. And it's got a lot of layers inside of it. So this is about a 1 gigabyte file. Well, I'm going to go in here and I've got a layer. I'm going to go in here and sharpen it. Just apply some unsharp mask to it. Hit OK. So I've sharpened the image. I've done something that makes there be a change here. Well, I'm going to come up here to the file menu. I'm going to hit save, or I'll just hit Command S so that you can see it right here. But take a look at what you'll see right inside that little title bar here. Saving 2021. While it's saving, I'm going to create a new document. And now I can start to do things on this new document while it's still saving. If that doesn't seem like a big feature to you, then you probably never paid attention to what used to happen inside of Photoshop before this. But in Photoshop before CS6, when you saved a document, you got a progress bar and you weren't able to do anything else inside of Photoshop. You had to wait for that image to be saved before you can move on. Now you can initiate the save and you can go and you can do whatever it is you want to do to the image or to another image or keep on going down the line there. But you can basically continue working inside of Photoshop, which I think is a big feature, especially when you're working with these larger documents. Our cameras. Take our digital cameras. I mean, they're shooting 15, 20 some megapixel photos. You got the Nikon D800 now that's shooting 36 megapixel photos, but this is a D800 photo, and that's why it's so big. All right, just the resolution on this image is almost 7,000 pixels. And then when you throw all these layers that I've added onto it, you create a large Photoshop document that before background save, anytime you saved it, you would have to sit there and wait for this progress bar to go in and to save it. And you saw here, it took about 25 seconds. It's 25 seconds you would have to sit there and wait. If you think about how many times you save a day, that can really build up. Okay, so that's something to consider when it comes to looking at some of these new features. Just don't miss out on it. Just know that it's there. There's people that work in large format. They used to time lunch breaks based on saving documents. They'd save a document and go out for lunch because they knew it was going to take 30 or 45 minutes because they had such large files. So really cool little feature here to be able to do that. Now, come back over here. Remember we made a change to this? So I'm gonna force quit Photoshop, okay? Because it's the only way that I can simulate a crash. But there, if you remember there, up in the Photoshop preferences, there was something that said automatically save recovery information. And you can choose how often you want that to happen here. But automatically save recovery information. So I've made a change to this image, but I never saved it, okay? I can't force Photoshop to crash right now, but as we know, sometimes Photoshop crashes, our computer crashes, whatever it happens to be. So I'm going to come up here to my little Apple menu. I'm going to go down to force quit, and I am going to force quit Photoshop. Yes, I want to force quit you. Come back over here. Now I'm going to open Photoshop again. And when it opens, I want you to check out what we see, because this is pretty big too. Look at that. See that? Auto recovered. It tells you the name right up there. It recovered it. So it didn't just take the original image that I opened is still there. It's still exactly where it lived on my hard drive. But this is a copy that has my changes to it that I had made that I never saved back before Photoshop crashed earlier. Okay, so that's another feature. Just understand that it's there, and you know, it's one of those things. You're better off hoping that you don't have to use it. You know, nobody wants to accidentally lose anything. But if you do, just understand that it's there, and you can of course come in here and you can change the amount of time that it's gonna, you know, set your. I'd say leave it at the default, but you might want to change it to 5 minutes. But you can change the amount of time. If I had layers added to this, no matter what I had added to this, it would keep my whole layers palette intact. Just remember, it's not doing it every minute. It's doing it every 5, 10, or whatever you set it to. So there could be something that you did in that time that would be gone, but it's way, way better than nothing. So those two little saving, recovery, background save things that we got there inside of Photoshop CS6, really, really big features. And to me, two things that I want to at least make sure you're not going to necessarily use every day, but I want to make sure that you know about them because they can save you a lot of time in the long run.